Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we'll check in with the Electric Distribution Division. So my guest today is Tim McCollough, Electric Distribution Manager with the City of Ames Electric Services. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, while this is a new job for you, you have held other positions at the City of Ames. Tell me a little bit about your background.
I started with the city about 4 years ago as a power plant engineer at the administration office, and then I worked for about a year and a half as the operations superintendent at the power plant, and just a few months ago I took my current position as the distribution manager.
So each of those jobs, you really were in a new facility then?
Yeah, different office, different facility.
So it really gives you a different perspective on the utility as a whole.
Yeah, my previous experience to the city helped me understand maintenance. I got a chance to do engineering in the administration office and then operations for a power plant at the generation facility, and now I'm learning another side of the business on the distribution facility.
So we're here at the distribution facility on Edison Street. Not a lot of people come out here or really know about this. What do we do here?
Well, this is where we house our line department, our technical services group that includes metering and substations. So our department's responsible for constructing new circuits to new developments in the city, also maintaining those circuits. So we respond to power outages that come in through weather events, storm events, or just where equipment starts failing.
So it's interesting you brought up weather events. We are kind of in stormy season. We've had some isolated power outages in the last couple of weeks. Tell me a little bit about what happens when you guys are notified that there's an outage. How do you usually get that word?
Well, our customers should be calling into our outage hotline. It's an automated system that answers all the phone calls, and the reason we use that is it identifies the customers quickly for us and helps group them together so we can understand where the power outages are happening, and so we can respond more quickly. So
now that 239 5240 number. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to call because I know the neighbors called. Why is that not a good idea?
Well, if you don't call, we don't know you don't have power. So if it will help us better respond to our customers' problems if they can use the automated system.
Now, is it possible that I could have power and my neighbor doesn't have power, or that we are being fed through different sources?
Absolutely. Two neighbors right next to each other could be fed from two different parts of town. So one neighbor would be out, the other one would have power.
Okay, and now I know that in today's society where a lot of people have cell phones, what's going on with the outage reporting system? If I don't have a home phone, do I still have that connection?
Well, when people sign up for service, they list at least one phone number associated with that account. So it's important that people maintain their phone numbers with their utility accounts so that when they call in, we know who is calling. There are ways that you can type in your phone number on that system, but it's best if you register your phone number, especially if you've moved throughout the city or have changed phones or gotten a new cell phone number. Whatever number you want to call in on, that should be registered with our system.
So I understand that a landline would show you my address. Now, does the cell phone number show you an address as well?
No, only if it's identified with your utility account. So it has to be registered specifically to your power bill.
So what I noticed a lot of people have done is maybe they signed up for utilities maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago. Since then, they've decided to get rid of a phone or two. What do they need to do?
They can call 239-5120, the utility accounts, and tell them that they need to register a new phone number, and that's the way that they can get that connected to their utility account.
And therefore, if I call in with my cell phone number, you have all the information you need.
Absolutely. And you can call in even if it's not registered. It just takes a little bit longer and you have to go through a few more menus on our automated system.
So people think when they call in, they're going to have somebody answer the phone. That isn't really what happens, is it?
Generally not. When we have power outages, we get a high volume of calls very quickly. And so that's the reason the system's automated, so we can process a high number of calls. There's been outages in the past year where we've had more than 30 people calling at the same time. And so in order to provide good service at a good cost, we have an automated system that answers those calls.
Can it answer 30 at once?
Absolutely. It can answer as many calls as come in right now.
Wow. So, and the other part of that is that you are immediately then getting out into the community and getting people recharged.
That's right. As soon as a call comes in, it flags it in our system, and we will dispatch a lineman who's on call within minutes usually we have a staff of 2 people that are on 24-hour call, and so they'll wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and go turn people's power back on.
So again, in Ames, we're fortunate that we have a municipal utility where we are located right here and we can respond. We aren't calling in people from across the state to come in and reconnect people.
No, we have a very small staff. We're here in the distribution truck bay. So this is where we house all of our equipment, and we have a staff of 9 linemen and 3 service workers that provide this service for the whole community.
So what makes it easier? What are some things that people need to be aware of to maybe in the future ensure against being disconnected?
Well, if you have overhead service wires in your backyard, letting our department know if trees are growing close to lines, following the proper building codes so that we know that there aren't building or structures going up underneath the power lines, maintaining proper easements so people can check their title records to know whether or not they can build underneath the power line. Typically not. Those are all things that help us respond more quickly to outages and to better serve our customers.
So another thing people like to notice a lot and call in about is street lights that are out. What do they do if they see one of those?
A couple ways you can notify us if you see a street light problem. You can call our office during business hours, 7 to 4, phone number is 239-5190, or you can email us at our address that's streetlights, plural, at cityofames.org. And that will notify us to go out and check the street lights. Many times a bulb can be burned out. One of the sensors that tells us it's nighttime might be malfunctioning, or the light could just be without power.
So I've called twice. One time for what I learned was called a blinker, and another time for when the street light didn't go off. So it sounds like one of those sensors. But I tell you, the response was very fast. They got those fixed right away.
Yeah, we have pretty much 2 people that maintain streetlights full-time here in the city, and they have well over 7,000 streetlights to keep track of. I have a hard time keeping bulbs on in my own house, so it's a challenge for them to know when streetlights are on or off, especially since we work daylight hours and we typically don't have electric staff driving around the city at night. So we rely on our customers to tell us when streetlights are out, and if they could help us do that, we can keep lights on.
So Tim, it's a relatively new position for you. Any challenges or projects you have in the future?
I'm more skilled at the generation side of making electricity, and so distribution's a new department for me, and I have a lot to learn, but I have a good staff that's helping me come up to speed.
Well, that's great. And we'll check back in with you. There's always stuff going on here, and again, to get that word out to our residents to register those phone numbers, that's really important, and it really seems like it's to their advantage.
It is. It helps them get their power back on more quickly.
Great. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Well, we've had some good news for the city of Ames. One of our SciRide bus drivers, Paul Klimish, came in first at an international competition for bus driving. That information and Paul's picture is on our website at cityofames.org. As you know, flooding is always a concern in the spring. To keep up with the latest information, always check the City of Ames website or our Facebook and Twitter pages. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.